Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Hannah Crapeau. I'm the Content Marketing Manager here at Certiport. We're so happy to have everyone joining us for our CertPREP powered by GMetrix practice test demo. Please note that the chat is open as well as the Q&A feature. So if you have questions as we're going throughout our presentation today, please make sure to just drop those there and we will answer those as we reach the end of our kind of pre-recorded demonstration. We'd also love to have you drop into the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from, what courses you teach, so we can all get to know each other a little bit better as well. I will be monitoring the chat as we go throughout. So if you have any questions, please let us know. We'll do our best to answer those. And we'll also make sure to have those answered as we go throughout the session in the recording so that those who are watching the session afterwards can get a feel for those as well. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing our intro slides here. And I will go ahead and share instead our pre-recorded demo. And we will be on our way. All right, Nicole, can you see that?
Yes, I can.
All right, wonderful.
You want me to introduce myself first?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Ross. I am the Senior Manager of Customer Experience at GMetrix. GMetrix is CertPREP Practice Test powered by GMetrix. So GMetrix is just a platform that the practice tests are housed on. I have 7 years as a classroom teacher in the CTE classroom. I taught Adobe certifications, Microsoft, ICT, and ESB. I'm also certified in all of those things, and then some like MTA, QuickBooks, CIW, just a PMP, a little bit of everything. So what I do is in addition to doing trainings on the platform, I host webinars on the GMetrix side of things. But as you can see, there are a lot. Hi, Florida, Orlando here. There have been numerous changes in the platform. So we wanted to do this to ensure that you all are able to just get an overview of the platform so that you can kind of use it effectively in your classrooms and get some in-depth knowledge. This is an overview of a few things here. And if, like I said, I do trainings, I do one-on-one and group trainings for schools and districts. So if any additional information is needed, we'll give you a way to contact me and set that up at the end. But this is an overview, and I really hope that it's helpful for you. And I will be answering questions as we go along. Thank you, Hannah.
Wonderful. Thank you for that introduction, Nicole. That's fabulous. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in. We'll be monitoring the chat as we go throughout, and we'll make sure to have Nicole answer any outstanding questions that aren't included in this demo as we get closer to the end. So let's dive in.
I will start by pointing out that GMetrix practice exams are based on the certification exams and mimic the testing environment. These tests will be the best option for gauging certification exam readiness. Both training and testing modes cover the same questions and material, but there are some differences. Training mode is great when you're still becoming comfortable with the material because it allows you to get quick feedback and learn why you do or don't understand the concept.
It's important to note that during training mode, there's no visible timer, but you are being timed and will be able to see it on your school report.
The availability of the help text feature, which can be a light bulb icon or a question mark depending on the test, provides you with information to help you answer the question correctly. Learners are provided immediate feedback to let you know whether you got the question right or wrong and gives you the opportunity to correct your answer. Testing mode is great for when you're comfortable with the material and you want a more accurate check on how well you will do on the certification exam.
Let's look at some specifics as to why testing mode is a great tool.
Testing mode has an enforced time limit that matches the time limit of the certification exam. Additionally, no help text is available and no feedback is provided until the test has been submitted for grading. Both modes allow you to mark questions for review, reset a question, save and return later, and skip questions, mimicking the certification exam. You may notice that your question is different from mine, and many of your students will have the same question in a different order, and some will have questions that others don't. This is due to GMetrix's extensive bank of questions built to ensure that learners are adequately prepared and have varying attempts to understand the concepts. GMetrix also provides multiple question types, which are determined by the test category and product that you are training on. Testing types include matching, multiple answer, and you want to be careful here because many students will miss questions like this because they did not read the part where it says choose 3. So please encourage your students to make sure that they read the entire question. Other types are true, false, stimulus, and multiple choice. Please note that this is not meant to be a full list of all of the question types within GMetrix, and it will vary depending on your category and product that you are testing on. We also have available tests that provide practice through hands-on practical tasks. These tests can be delivered live in-app or through the cloud. Each question has a unique question ID. If you feel that a question might have inaccurate information or needs to be reviewed by our content team, you may submit a support ticket at support.gmetrix.net. Please include the question ID when submitting the ticket to assist us with locating it. To access your score report in the student portal, you want to choose Test and Completed Test. You will have all completed tests on your screen, and you will be able to choose the test that you would like to see the score report for. You will notice that each completed test tile does contain the name of the test, the score, and the date and time completed. This is important because you will often take a test more than one time. By looking at the date completed and the score, you will be able to tell which test that you are trying to access the score report for.
And within testing mode, students are not able to receive the immediate feedback like they do in training mode. But at the end of the testing, they are able to go in and review the questions that they missed. Once they review those questions and choose answers, they then get feedback similar to that of training mode.
You want to make sure the students are reviewing the explanations and understanding why they got the answers incorrect. This will go a long way in helping them to understand the concepts and get them correct in the future. I also recommend having a pen and paper handy to write down any vocab or explanations that they need to remember. Your score report contains the name of the test and the time spent on test. Again, when you're in training mode, the test is timed, but you have an unlimited amount of time. Knowing how long it takes you to take a practice exam is important because when you're taking the actual exam and the exam in testing mode, you will be on a 50-minute countdown or whatever time is allotted for that particular exam. So you want to make sure that you're monitoring your time spent while doing practice exams so that your time is decreasing. That way you will be sure to complete the exam, the testing exam, as well as the actual certification exam within the allotted amount of time. Also on the score report, there will be encouragement regardless of the score. So whether you pass or fail, you will be told that, and you will receive encouragement. You will also have your score out of 1,000 points as well as out of the number of points on the test. You will also be told the number of points or the number of questions you need to get correct in order to pass the exam. There's also a breakdown by question, and this correlates with the objectives here. So it gives you the objectives and it tells you how many questions out of each objective that you were able to get right. And then it has a key here, the red, the yellow, and the green. And this key It correlates here with the green, letting you know that you did score 81 to 100% on each objective. And then if you go to objectives here, you have all of the objectives, the 3 objectives that are on the exam, and it tells you the red being the objectives where you scored 0 to 50% at, green being 81 to 100%, and then the yellow 51 to 80%. Utilizing this information with the objectives is very important for student remediation. They can utilize this information, go to the study guide, and create their own custom exam. This eliminates the need for the teacher to create custom exams for each individual student, but also allows the teacher to be able to create their custom exams based on overall class objectives that need to be identified. The student can take their learning into their own hands here and accelerate from a student to a learner by doing the self-remediation. In the questions tab, students are able to view the names of the questions that were on the exam. The red X indicates that the question was incorrect, while the green check mark indicates that the question was correct. When reviewing the questions in the Questions tab in testing mode, students are only able to see the objective and the question stem. Choosing Go to Study Guide allows the students to go to the GMetrix study guide, where they will be able to see statistics based on several practice tests taken, as well as create their own custom exams based on the objectives that they need to focus on. The study guide is a great tool to use for days when you might have a substitute, or on those state testing days where you only get to see your students for maybe 20 minutes, but not your full class period. Students are able to utilize the study guide and create their own custom exams. To do that, they will click on View All Questions within the study guide. Select questions based on the areas needed to be reviewed. You will notice here that it tells the items selected and the approximate amount of time that will be needed to complete. They go to the gear. They are able to choose training mode or testing mode, and then choose Start Test. Within the custom test builder, students are also able to see all of the questions that are on the exam, depending on which exam you are practicing with, as well as the explanations and whether or not they have had that question in one of the practice exams that they took. A quick review allows the learner to see how many questions are in their developmental area, decide how many they want to answer, and choose testing or training mode. It is recommended that they select at least 20 questions as a starting point so they can get more useful preliminary performance data. Remember, the more tests that are taken, the more the study guide can help prepare for success on exam day. GMetrix testing mode is a great way to perform mock testing and prepare students for what they will experience on the actual certification exam testing day. Have students perform all of the policies and procedures that they will perform on a normal testing day. Procedures will differ based on your area. I would have students to enter their classroom with their ID out ready for me to check. I would have them to sign in and then tell them which computer they would be testing at. All personal items will be left at the front of the classroom for me to give the signal for and given they were able to start their test and stay in the classroom until their time was completed. The next day, we would review the results, and students are able to see how prepared they are for exam in regards to information that could be on the exam, as well as being able to complete the exam in the allotted amount of time. I would then pull the objectives report from the admin panel and create custom exams and do focus studies on the areas where the class was under 51%. Please review the reports website on how to pull specific reports within the GMetrix admin panel. GMetrix testing mode is a great way to determine exam readiness, practice with a timer, prepare for the exam, and determine the areas needed to review. Utilizing testing mode is a great way to mimic the actual certification exam environment and prepare students for the different things that they may encounter on certification testing day. We will begin by navigating to manage.gmetrix.net, and you will log in using your administrative credentials. Once inside the portal, you will choose Reports from the left-hand navigation menu. Under Reports, you have two options, Create and Test Tracking. We will take a look at Test Tracking first. Test Tracking allows you to view the current test status and access detailed score reports for your students. When you choose Test Tracking, the last test completed will appear. You do have the option to apply filters. The detailed reports are provided for each test within the report, and you obtain them by clicking on the eye. The detailed report contains the individual student score report for the test completed. You do have the option to view the report as well as print it using the printer button in the top right of the screen. Please note that this same report is accessible by students if they log into the online student portal at gmetrix.net. In addition to viewing the reports on screen, you do have the option to export all of the GMetrix reports. You can generate several comprehensive reports about your students' usage statistics and testing results by utilizing the Create option. Create report options are divided into three sections: test reports, course reports, and ebook usage. To access the general product report, you will need to choose a start date and end date, and then click Run Report. The report then opens in a separate tab and includes the pass-fail rate of each product, the actual number of tests that were passed or failed, and the percentage of total students represented. This test provides an overview of the number of tests your students have taken and the pass-fail rate within your class. For the student test results report and the objectives breakdown reports, there are specific report filters required. They include a start date as well as an end date, a category, the product that you're looking at, and the test, as they are test specific. You do have the option to add a group as well as show only the highest test result per student, or you can show all of the test results per student. Once you have completed your filters, choose Run Report. The report will open in a new tab and shows a breakdown of the tests based on each individual student that has taken the test. Again, the results are filtered by a specific test, and they show the student's score, total possible score, and a percentage of correct answers. The last report we will look at is the objectives report. This report is great for remediation and focus within your organization. This report is also based on the objectives for the official exam. The objectives report shows a breakdown of a given test based on the objectives required by the official exam. You will see the pass-fail rate for students who have taken the test based on these objectives. A best practice would be to focus instruction on objectives with less than 50% pass rate. Then create custom tests based on each objective for whole class review. As a reminder, students also have access to create their own custom tests to review.
If you have purchased curriculum, this also is a great time to incorporate the curriculum for the specific objectives. Custom tests can be created utilizing a subset of the question pool for each practice test. These custom tests will appear as an option for the students when they log in to take a practice test once the custom test has been created and attached to the access code that the students are using. Custom tests are most effective when combined with reports. We will start with creating a custom exam. In this portion, we will need to determine our products and categories for our test. I do suggest that you review student reports and objective reports to determine specific objectives that you would like for the test to focus on. To create custom tests, we will first need to navigate to manage.gmetrix.net and log in using our admin user ID and password. Once we were in, on the left navigation menu, we will choose Custom Test. After navigating to Custom Test, you will choose Create New Test at the top. Step 1 includes adding the test information, your test name. I recommend that you put a test name that coincides with what will be in the test. You have the option to choose your test language as well as a passing score. I will put my passing score at 80 because regular passing score on a GMetrix practice test is 70%, and I want to challenge my students. You also have the option to choose whether it's in training mode. Default is testing mode that has a timer that counts down for your students and does not give feedback until the end of the test. Training mode will disable the timer and the students will get immediate feedback. Step 2 is going to be selecting your category and the products. The category is the type of software you wish to create the test for. Categories shown here are IC3 and your Microsoft. Once you select your category, you will have another row appear for your products. The products allows you to choose one or more products within the category from which to pull your questions. I have chosen Microsoft Office 2019 as my category, so my options for product include those within the Microsoft Office product suite. I will point out that you can utilize several products to create one custom test if that's what you would like to do. For example, here you notice I have selected Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. So when I create my custom test, I can pull questions from each of those 3 practice exams. After choosing my products, I will choose Next to select my questions. When it comes to selecting my questions, I have the option of scrolling through the objectives and selecting individual objectives that I like using the checkbox to the left. I can also look at the different names, the different titles, or the question ID number and choose the objective that I'd like to add to my test. I also have the option of choosing the objectives I like by using the Filter Objectives button. I can choose the overall objective that I want or an individual objective. It will bring up the overall topic, and I can choose all of the questions under that topic by choosing the checkbox next to the topics, or I can choose individual questions within that particular topic by clicking on the questions individually. Remember that since I've chosen 3 products to pull test questions from, I will need to click on the tab for each individual product and select the questions that I would like to add to my custom exam. Once your questions are chosen, you may now select your final options for your test. First, you have the time, which is the amount of time allotted for the students to complete the test. You want to take into consideration the number of test questions that you are putting on the test when you set your time limit. This also only matters if you have chosen to complete the test in testing mode. Next, you have select random questions. This randomly assigns the desired number of questions from your list of selected questions. You can enter a number. For example, here I've chosen 10. So 10 of the 69 questions that I've chosen will be selected. I can also choose 69, and all of the questions will be selected and presented to the students in the custom test. Once you have chosen your amount of time and your questions, you will choose next to be taken to the final step. Once you have completed creating the custom test, you will get a notification that the custom test was successfully submitted, and now you will complete the final step of assigning the test to your student access codes. To start that, you want to click Assign Test.
We'll look at assigning your custom test to your students. The first step in assigning your custom test is going to be determine whether you are going to assign it to the access code for the complete class or to a particular student group. I'm going to walk you through assigning it to an access code. If you are unsure which access code or which identifier you have given to your students, you may look in your student dashboard by navigating to GMetrix.net and choosing the My Account button.
Once I'm in my account, I will go to access codes. I will review the access codes that I currently have there and determine which one that I am currently using. Once I have identified the identifier, I will then go back over to my manage.gmetrix.net account and assign the custom test to that individual identifier. Once I've chosen my identifier, I will click the next button and move on to step 2 in the process. Step 2 simply requires me to confirm the access codes that I have selected that the custom test be made available to. You will see here that I have selected a class access code as student group access code for the test to be available to. That is an option for you. Once you have confirmed that is where you want your test to go, you want to click next and assign your test. Congratulations, you have now created and assigned a custom test. To verify that your custom test is available for students to view, you will navigate to the student portal at gmetrix.net to view the custom test.
Okay, we've reached the end of our pre-recorded demo, and we have some questions that I've been compiling as we go through. So Nicole, I'll just start kind of at the top of the list. First question that we got, how do I see my students' results of their practice tests? I think this question is more about navigating to that portion of the account.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here so that you can see. All right. So to see your students' test results, you're going to go to the admin portal. And then once you sign into the admin portal at manage.gmetrix.net, you're going to go down to reports and test tracking. Test tracking is going to, and you can put filters on so you can see finished reports or ones that were just saved. You can put filters on for scores, or if there's a specific group or a student or even test name, you have filters that you can put on. I'm just going to get search and get all of mine, but this is going to show you. This is going to show you all of your students' reports.
Perfect.
That's going to show you the results. And it's going to show you basically an overview of, I know, but it'll show you like the latest scores that your students have. That's the words I'm trying to use. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so another question, and I'm not sure which product this relates to as far as which certification or practice test they're using. Why was the Proctor tabs covering the GMetrix ribbon? I was unable to test as part of my ribbon was hidden. I don't know if that's a common issue.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I can guess, because I sent them a message to message me, but what I can guess, if you probably a Microsoft test, if you go down to the bottom and undock it, you can move the dock with the questions, with the instructions in it, you can move it elsewhere.
Perfect.
You can click undock and you can dock it at the top or the bottom, or it can be undocked and you can move it around as you're going through the test. And that you can do that in the practice test and in the certification exam.
Fabulous. Okay, wonderful. Next question that came through. After an exam is submitted, how can students see which questions they got wrong?
Okay, so if a student goes to their exams and they go their dashboard at the GMetrix.net and they go to test and then completed test, they're able to look into pick the test that they completed. And it will show them the information for the questions that they got wrong. It's likely not in the correct order, but it'll show them if they click on it. It'll show them the objective, the question stem, and it'll show them the answers as well as an explanation.
Wonderful. Okay.
And then,
Oh, go ahead, Nicole.
Once they finish the test as well, if they click resume review, they got 38 out of 45 questions here. If they click resume review, start review, it might say, they will be able to see the 7 questions that they did not get right. They can go back and they can see them and answer them again.
Awesome. Giving them a chance to review those ones that they missed. Perfect. Next question relates to the Autodesk practice tests. An educator submitted, I am experiencing problems with locating files for the Autodesk Revit practice exams. I do understand that the files are only active while practicing. So do we have information about how they can access those?
So with the practice exams, there is a path that they are under. You have to open an exam to get the files, and then you have to go to the path. It depends on how your computer and your tech people have set up the location of the path. It depends on how they have set it up, but in here I'll locate that for you and drop it in the chat. And then this is the support site, but in our support site it does say how to locate the path. There it does say how to locate the path on one of the articles here under applications.
Perfect.
But you might also have to have your tech person look into where they have it path for.
Perfect. Okay, next question will relate to multiple programs. How do we access the study guides?
Okay, so the study guides are in the GMetrix in the student portal. So you're gonna have to go to the student portal, and then right on the left-hand side, there's your study guide. That's the quickest way to access them. And then you choose a study guide depending on what exam that you're in. That's a quick way to access it there. It can also be accessed through the student score report.
Perfect. Okay, I was taking the exam and got knocked out by the server, and it automatically counted my test as finished and completed. What can I do to make sure that my students do not run into this issue?
So that was in regards to the actual certification exam, Hannah. So that's a Certiport
Perfect.
thing.
Love it. And if you have questions, I had some people asking some Certiport specific questions or certification exams as opposed to the practice tests. If you have questions about those and would like to be able to connect with someone, you're not sure who that person is, feel free to email me, hannah.davis@pearson.com, and I can make sure to direct you to the right person. Next question relates again to the practice test. Can you change the language? I have 2 Ukrainian refugee students in my class with limited English. We had someone who had the same question for Spanish as well.
Okay, so it's going to be a yes and a no and a sort of. All right, so I'm going to show you on the login screen, the language can be changed. All right, so on the login screen, the language can be changed. And then once you sign in, you do have the option to change the language here. So that's the yes. The no part is once they're in the practice exams, it's English. So this part, the directions and everything, getting to the practice exam is going to be in whatever language that you choose. But once you are in the practice exam, it's going to be English. Now, the sort of part, we do have practice exams that are in different languages. I know Spanish, they have a lot in Spanish. I'm not sure about for Ukraine students. I will give you my email address. I'm checking now, I'm waiting on a response to see what all languages we have available, because there's some things we have in some languages and some things we don't. So I'm checking to see now exactly which other languages that we have. But I will give you my email address and you can email me and I'll make sure I have that answer for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole. So in thinking about that, someone asked if there's an email for someone in support on the GMetrix side that they can reach out to in the event of questions or concerns.
Okay, so a few things with that. So we do have our support site here, and you can put a support ticket in to, and that goes to our tech team for any support. And with that, with the support tickets, you have about 4 people looking at those tickets, so they're being answered fairly quickly. I myself am also one of the people in there looking at them. And I'll also put in, we do have our 800 number here as well, and this, again, this is our support site, so you can call the 800 number and get a live person. And then again, at the end of the webinar, I will also put my email address in. So I know someone said it was a pressing issue that they had sent a message about previously. So I'll put my email address in and just reach out to me, and it might be something that I can help you with, or I can make sure that we get someone from support immediately to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nicole, for that. That's helpful. Next question, is there a way to get a pre-built practice test that is not a custom test?
You want to buy a single test, or you just want your students to be able to see the single test? If you're looking for a single test, then the test that with your access code, the test that is with your access code, it's going to be there with each access code for whatever program that you're using. You're going to have at least 2 practice tests in test training mode, and then at least 2 in in testing mode. If you just want a single practice test, then you can purchase single practice tests through the GMetrix website. But if you're talking about your students, whatever, you don't have to create custom exams for them. So if you're teaching Word, these are all the tests that are going to come with Word. These are they cover everything. I'll put it like they cover everything, not just one specific topic. They cover everything.
So there's the option of using the pre-built exams as well as creating a custom test if you wanted to hone in maybe on a specific topic.
Correct. And every product is going to come with at least 2 exams, at least 2 exams. Some of them will come with more, like you see Word here has 9.
Perfect. Okay, next question related to the Intuit certifications. Where do I find the L keys for cert test for Intuit? And this might be more related to the certification exam as I'm reading it, as opposed to the practice test.
Okay.
So if that doesn't ring a bell, Nicole, we can move on. And whoever submitted that question, if you could just reach out to me and we can cover that later.
Or clarify, yeah, because I'm not sure what the L
Yes,
key is.
perfect. Okay, so next question. My GMetrix practice tests do not have the option to go back to review and resubmit the questions the students got wrong on the test. Is there something that's wrong on their end? Who should they reach out to for support on that?
When they're doing the practice test, when it gives them their score report, it has the option to resume the review and submit it. It won't change the grade, but they're able to review the questions that they missed.
Okay, and it looks like I'm seeing some comments submitted into the chat that they don't have that option showing on their side. So is the best way to just submit a ticket then for that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so next question, and I think Nicole and I will probably tag team this one. How does Certiport work with GMetrix? This person who submitted the question, it looks like we had some echoes that they're also new. I'm brand new to this process and trying to keep things straight. So Nicole, if you want to go ahead and then I can jump in with some additional thoughts as well.
Okay, so Certiport employs a learn, practice, certify model. Learn is the curriculum. There are several curriculums that you can get through Certiport to facilitate teaching the students the information. And then once the information has been taught, then you go to the practice portion. That's where GMetrix comes in with this CertPREP practice test powered by GMetrix. You will hear them called CertPREP practice test powered by GMetrix. You will hear them called CertPREP practice test. You will hear them called GMetrix. They're all the same thing. They're all the same thing, but it's the one thing, but that's the practice part where you practice the cert for your certification exam using the test and this platform here. And then you have the certify part, which is Certiport, where you go and actually take the actual certification exam. And those certification exams, these practice tests here mimic the actual certification exams. So what you find on the certification exam, you'll also find in these practice tests. For instance, the ESB exam has a calculator on it. You will have that in this practice test. The questions, the way the questions are laid out, the question where you have multiple choice, you have matching, you have different kinds of stems, you have the hot spots. You find that in the practice exam, you find that in the certification exam. So basically it's that 3-piece model that they have laid out, like everybody sort of has a piece in it. GMetrix is the practice piece, and then Certiport is where you actually take the exams, and then the purchasing and the sales side is through Certiport.
Perfect. I don't know that I really have a lot to add to that. I think that that's a great kind of overview. We work with several learning products partners, as Nicole mentioned, who help us develop the curriculum that maps to our certification exams. GMetrix has been an incredible partner on the practice side of things, creating and developing these practice exams that map to our certifications. And then, as Nicole mentioned, all of the purchasing for both learning products, practice tests, and certification exams are handled by our Certiport territory managers. So if you have questions about purchasing, anything else, we're happy to answer those. And then if it needs to go to the GMetrix team, we can also make sure to bridge that connection as well. Another question that just came through, Nicole, is would it be possible to get a student version of the demo video, perhaps from the beginning until the point where the reports are discussed? So kind of showing students the ins and outs.
What I can, there is, so if there is a specific, so let's do it like this. So on the GMetrix YouTube page, we have different videos for different things. So there's one on there that shows you how to use training mode. There's one on here that shows you how to use our testing mode. There's one that gives you in-depth for the study guide. That's a big one, in-depth for the study guide. So there, and I'll go ahead and put that link in the chat. But there are videos here on our website, and those videos might be ones that are helpful for your students. So that might be what it is that you're looking for.
Just going to say, I know that you guys have created quite a bit already, so hopefully those resources already exist and are helpful. Thank you. And there's the link there in the chat.
And if you're not finding what you need on there, I have put my email address as well as my booking link in the chat, so you can reach out to me and we can see what else can be done.
Wonderful. And it looks like we have covered pretty much everything, which is wonderful. Like Nicole mentioned, if you have any additional questions, we're always here and happy to help. So we've dropped our emails into the chat. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Nicole, any final thoughts that you wanted to share?
So there's a lot on the CertPREP platform. There is a lot of good information and good stuff. I encourage you all to go into the platform yourself, into the student portion of the platform, because there will be things in here that will be greatly useful. But if we're, as teachers, always in the admin portion, we don't see that. So I know for one thing that the study guide came up and it was available for the students, and many teachers did not even know because that we don't go into the student portal much. But the study guide is here and it's a great tool. And this is the school report for the students. And I'm just going to click on go to study guide here. And this gives so much good information and helps the students be able to get to where they need to be. There's quick reviews that can be done here. And what this has is all the questions in a student's developmental area, and they can do this in testing and training. And then it even has where you can go in and you can see the questions on the exams. You can see the green is for questions that you've gotten correct. The yellow is for questions that you've gotten incorrect. And you can see the question, the answers, as well as an explanation. And then you'll see here, it has the meter over there. It has that meter because it has that meter because it has a difficulty rating on the question. You know, so I've given difficulty ratings to some of the questions, and I can even create exams that based on the difficulty ratings. So there are a lot of good information and things that you can do. To get to the student portal as a teacher, you might have a gmetrix.net account, or you can just go into your teacher, the admin portal, and go to log in as a student, and it will take you over to the student account. So you don't have to have a lot of accounts. So there's that. Okay.
I was just going to say we had, it looks like one more question come in about kind of the release schedule as well. So this person is curious about the PowerPoint 365 apps version of the practice test. Do we have a link or maybe a web page that has kind of the schedule for when different product updates are going to be happening or different releases?
I know that we put them on our social page, and I know that I know we just released Excel Expert, and there was Fusion 365. I want to say that PowerPoint 365 has been released. I want to say that it's been released, but I will confirm that. And actually, from my understanding, it's on the Certiport. That's what they're telling me right now. That's what they just sent to me here. I'm going to put this up. All right, this is what they just sent to me. And they said that we follow Certiport, like, so if it says it's released here, then it's been released. So PowerPoint 365, it's like the exam and the CertPREP July Q4. So it looks like it's coming in July.
So that's
Wait, no, this
yes,
is
for
that's not English.
other languages. Yes. So this is a great page, Nicole. Thank you for pulling this up. So this is the schedule on the Certiport side for the exam releases. So if you're looking for product information, maybe there's a new version of the exam that you're looking for. This has the schedule for all of the different languages across the different products. So you can see here that we have the timeline for English. There's also for these other languages, Arabic, Chinese. So if you're looking for the timeline, maybe you teach some students who teach or speak English as a second language. This is a great place for you to go to be able to know when those different resources are going to be available in the localized versions. So looks like we've covered pretty much everything. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're so grateful that you spent part of your afternoon with us. And Nicole just dropped her contact info in the chat. We're really looking forward to working with all of you and getting to know you all a little bit better. So thank you for spending part of your afternoon with us. We really appreciate you and hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.
I dropped the link for the exam releases in there as well.
Perfect.
And then GMetrix does do a weekly webinar. We're going to have one on tech support as well as open forum. I thought that would be important for you guys because y'all had tech questions where you can ask your live tech questions and he will get them resolved for you. So
perfect.
That will help you get there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nicole. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.